And with that, I believe we're good to go. Hello, everybody. I know I'm late. I know. Uh, kind of slept in a little bit today, and not to like this point, but I slept in, and I sat there and I went, uh, you know, I already know ahead of time just because it's the end of Volume One, and they're probably not going to show too much. I assume, that this is going to be a little bit more of a chill episode. So I was a little bit more lenient towards, you know what, maybe I could delay the reaction a little bit. You know, it's not that big of a deal. But hello, everybody. Welcome back to more ReZero, all that. It is I, Niab, Akaoni, whatever we want to say. And yeah, we're here for episode 4. I am still excited, of course, to watch, but I know that this is probably going to be a lot more of a cool down compared to I suppose last time and everything, right? With one of the greatest episodes, and in terms of like also chapter content, easily my favorite for Volume One. I know now that this is like not I know now, but rather like I know ahead of time, that everything that comes from here in terms of the rest of Volume One, like the very little that's left, isn't going to be too extreme. I'm very excited for everything that comes after this. I think this is going to be the only point for Arc 6 in general where it's going to feel like that sort of slowdown. But the rest of this, I know for a fact, is just going to be real great with just every episode that passes. And I'm very, very excited for that. Of course, again, I'm still excited for this. I'm still excited to see all that's going to happen here. And maybe light novel differences that I don't know about. But still, it's a bit more chill, and therefore I was a little bit more willing to do it at this point, right, in the day, rather than immediately as the episode came out. However, nothing more needs to be said about that. We might as well just get into it, because why not, right? We're here for the reaction. Might as well. Anyways, with that said, I'm going to put these up, right? 1, 2. I forgot that I'm still tabbed into this, so don't mind my just nice taskbar there out of nowhere, because I totally forgot that I didn't tab in just yet. My bad. Anyways, I believe there isn't any audio to the desktop because I did actually recently do the Arc 9 stream. So to just double check, yep, okay, we're good. We're good. We don't want to have that moment that I had with Bleach. We're good, right? I streamed recently and I did have the desktop audio on at one point, so I wasn't sure if I still had it on, but I did mute it afterwards. We're good. Okay. With that said, we are ready. I'm going to put the mouse over there and we are going to time this. So 3, 2, 1, let's go. Perfect. Ooh, I do. I do think I remember this part. Weird that it has a skip recap button here. I find that odd. This part, I remember being very interesting because I'm pretty sure this was in the web novel. This is the opposite of the usual effect. I feel like I remember this a whole lot. Ooh, that's a good effect. Also skipped intro because they're showing the credits. Oh, here she is. Been a while since we saw you. Hey, lady. You look really good in this new style. Ooh, and the filter over that and everything. Oh, that was nice. So I wonder if there's the same plot point around here. I'll wait on that. Oh boy. Yep, here we are. We're finally here. Oh man. So I'm assuming, I hope I don't say too much, but I'm assuming we're getting the green room and library this episode. And we're not going to see Mr. Stick Swinger. just yet. But maybe they will show him at the end. There it is. Yep. Mm. I did see that frame on Twitter because they were showing off frames of it on the official account, which is actually where I get a lot of the stuff for the thumbnails because that's the easiest way to get high quality. I actually, oh my god, I mean I knew she did this overall, but uh, I was actually surprised to find out. I think back when I had done my tier list for Arc 7 or something like that. Uh, oh, that's a very important point. Um, but I was shocked to find out that some people aren't huge actually on SHAULA, which I was kind of surprised. I felt like she like was a very interesting character. That I can't go into like just yet, but I felt like she was interesting enough actually in terms of like her background and all that, that it's like she was very enjoyable. Like I put her pretty fucking high on my tier list. I like this over exaggeration that they're kind of animating her with because this is how it felt to read her, right? So it's really damn good. I do partially wish it was just a tiny bit deeper on the voice, so it was less bratty with it, but like overall, pretty good. And then there's the coins, and that's why it's relevant to the opening. That's why I pointed it out when we watched the opening. That actually, that's a really interesting point to make that some people aren't going to notice. She says no problem. They don't have that word here. Yeah, there's the reaction. Mm. You know, I forgot they were gonna actually like call him by that name, and I'm just like, oh shit, shit, I said too much. Fuck. You know what? It's in the trailer. It's in the opening. You already know. Mm. I do like that Ram kind of says that, and it feels like she is intentionally trying to draw it out. She's completely lying, but she's like, let me hear it, and here it comes. Okay, there it is. I remember when I was reading that, that was such a like huge because I knew about stuff like Shaola and all that, but like I did not fully. Oh, that's great that they do actually show that just to remind viewers. Uh, but I remember reading that and I was like, oh shit, like he's the because it does help that I've had friends who have like mentioned the whole details of it, of like, oh yeah, Flugel, like did all this and everything, and then also Arc 5 actually had some stuff, but they didn't fully go into it with Arc 5's anime adaptation, uh, which I don't mind, but it's like, yeah. It's also in there partially. And then it's all leading into this. It's like, oh shit, right? Like, oh. Again, I really like how exaggerated she is. You know what I realized? You know what I just realized? She's not saying a word. She's not. I can't go into it, but she's not saying a word. Oh. Oh. Poor girl. It's outright English. I would like the shake there just to show the heavy steps. Again, I'm so glad of how they're handling this. All the stairs. I never actually imagined it this wide, but I guess that would make sense. Just because like I always imagined it was a little bit tighter on the actual staircase. Like I knew they were, super high, but I never imagined it was gonna be like this wide in distance. I like how they have them grouped up in the shots here. That's actually really good. That's actually a pretty cool distance shot for that. Yep, the library. The green room. Ooh. I actually forgot about that detail partially. I remembered it, but it was just it didn't fully click in the moment till then. I'm like, oh yeah, right. Like the pocket. Uh, uh I do actually really I don't want to say though, because I was just trying to mention I do really like how this looks. I mentioned it in the trailer, but I really fucking like how it looks. I never imagined the green room like this, but this is way more beautiful than I had imagined. So technically it's a good thing. I like the solemn sort of piano in the back to match with this. Hmm. Again, I said it last time. These interactions between these two. This is the lesser half of them, but like the interactions between these two is so damn good. They're both so damn good in this arc. Ah, so I'm kind of curious if most of this is going to be the library, or at least going into that overall. Again, again, notice perfect English. Yep. Oh, I remembered it in the yeah, something that a few of them could relate to. I was gonna mention I remembered the detail in the like light novel illustrations, but I realized there while I was zoomed in. There we go. I'm trying to remember. There is a detail that's partially escaping me right now, and I'm just trying to remember the entirety of it. I'm not going to say it for obvious reasons, but there is something I'm thinking about with all of that. I remember it now. I actually no, I remember it what it was now. Yeah, assuming it's not changed, then yeah, I know exactly how it goes. Right? Yeah, yeah. Right. The library doesn't become visible till yes. Right. I forgot. Yeah. I forgot about this detail. Again, it's been a bit. It's been fuck. Has it been like 2 or 3 years now? Holy shit! But it's been a bit since I've actually gone through it. There it is. Yep, the slab. This is one of my favorite parts of the arc. Is that it's very, without going into extra details about different things, it's very similar to Arc 4, and I love that something like this, just trials being in there, are also in this, right? And it relates to yeah, that's what it was. It relates to a witch yet again, where previously it was Echidna, now it's Satella, and just the fact that it's like yeah, trials yet again, and it's like oh. And there we go. I do love that it's voiced by whoever touches it. That is really interesting. I mean, it makes sense, but uh, like there's such a cool detail here in terms of dialogue that I can't say. Oh, there we go. I said it with the trailer, but the exaggeration with her also trying to carry melee is really good. I said it with the trailer, but I love the outline around them to kind of work with this room. There it is. Sure does. I forgot that Julius's opinion of him. I totally forgot. Yeah, there it is. I forgot if she goes into all the details about it. That or they might have changed it, but we'll have to wait and see. All these new OSTs sound so damn good. Star on it. Right, yeah, yeah, yeah. This was the yeah. Ugh. Also, yeah, that line coupled with the face is so good. Yeah, I forgot what the solution was. Was it's like, oh yeah, because she's named after a star, so therefore just look for the constellation, right? Or not constellation, but you know what I mean. Constellation's the wrong word. Constellation is way different. That's group of stars. But if you look for the specific location, oh, they didn't actually. Oh shit! Wow, I said a lot. I said a lot that I shouldn't have. I kind of just skip intro. That it's not an intro. Oh wow. Is there? Hold on. Oh, there's more. There's more. Let's chill. Let's chill. Okay. So it's exactly what I said. It was going to be a cooldown and everything. So that adds up. Um, that actually wasn't as much as I expected. However, I need to really preface this because these leads. I should have mentioned this last time. Um, this leads into what I was saying about the whole episode count and people being worried of like the first episode, half of that was arc 5 and then it was done, right? So that was handled and half of that honestly bled into arc 6 a little bit perfectly. So cool. We got a few episodes of arc 6 and that was already enough to finish the first volume and we have 19 episodes in total. We're good, man. I know the last volume's probably going to have like a little bit more, but realistically, note that that first episode was half. If every episode is like, or not every episode, but all the volumes are relatively like 3 to 4, uh, episodes per volume, all that sort of shit, then you could have a bit extra for the final, and there's no worry, right? So it's like it's why I wasn't personally worried about any of this shit. Let me just see how long it's gonna be. Oh yeah, extra 3 minutes. Yeah, never mind. They're just like outright gonna show the answer, I guess, so you wouldn't even know. Yeah. And then see that's another big point to bring up is that only realistically Subaru and Al should know about all that. But I do like that they get to go into the whole story about it and they didn't cut that out. Melee is just not entertained by this. Yeah, there we go. Constellations is correct. It's just for the fact of me mentioning SHAULA and all that. You know what I mean? That'd be 1, 2. That line has a little bit of extra weight to it. I can't say why, but well, actually, I guess I technically could, because I'm pretty sure that was used with the ifs, right? Like the ReZero ifs, or I guess re-if. But I mean, if you know the if, you know. Technically, it was actually also adapted a little bit, and I guess also it was in the light novel and all. It was adapted in the way it was already. Yeah, it's a library. This looks really nice. This is another thing. Oh, okay, hold on. Let me just do that. That was a little annoying that it was just gonna end up doing that. Uh, I mean, I guess realistically, it wouldn't have shown much outside of some of that shit. But all right, okay, that was pretty good. That was a good cool down episode. Got to see the library at the end, which again looks great. Definitely a little bit different than what I had expected. Um, but still, that good cooldown episode. And again, we are at the second volume now, right? This is why I don't view this as something that is like concerning with the whole like, oh no, you know, are we going to be able to get like the whole thing adapted properly? Bro, we're like 1/3 of the way into the second volume. The second volume is not that long. I think it's like honestly, I would argue the third volume onward is where it gets a little bit longer, and the fifth volume absolutely. But like episodes, like light novel chapters to episodes can get squeezed down pretty easily because there are certain smaller things that sure can be exempt, right? Not saying, that like technically speaking, you should, remove every little piece, right? I'm just saying if it's an adaptation, it's inherently going to have to, cut the fat a little bit. So as long as it's not like cutting anything that's absurdly important or whatever it may be, it's partially fine, right? Then on top of that, it's the whole thing of like, I think there also needs to be the understanding that a lot of what comes from chapters with the light novel and everything is prose, right? The things that you read to understand what characters are doing, the scenery around them, all this that leads into, how you build this perspective of the world that's going on, right? Thing is, you don't need that with the anime when the anime shows it to you, right? The whole point of the anime is that it's showing you, like showing it to you. Much like the ReZero manga, it can cut down on a lot of that because it's like, yeah, I mean, it's just showing it to you, right? You're already seeing what they're describing, so you don't need the description if you're just looking at it, right? So inherently, a lot of that gets trimmed down as a result. And when you trim down all of that, like most series, this is a lot of prose, so you trim down on a lot of that, and it's like, yeah, we'll be done the second volume by like episode 6, right? By then we might be done that, or like maybe episode 7, something like that, right? And it's like, okay, we're good, right? That's it. We're on to the third volume. And a reminder, 19 episodes in total, right? Again, I know I said the third and fourth volumes will probably be longer, and especially the fifth, but like, I feel like there's enough leeway here that we can absolutely get a shit ton of content in there that looks great and all this. And it's just like, I don't know. I think we're perfectly fine. Still, pretty damn good episode. Glad to have, I guess like watched it and still reacted regardless, even if I knew it was going to be a little bit more chill. Definitely didn't go through as much as I had thought because I had assumed that the library would be shown way earlier and wouldn't just be like kind of the cliffhanger in there. I thought we were actually going to go into it a little bit, but I guess not, and it makes sense because the library is this very relevant detail, not only for the whole arc and the series as a whole, um, but just in particular for how this volume kind of ends off. It is a very important detail. So it's like, you know what? It makes sense that it's like, okay, we're gonna cliffhanger into that. Next episode will probably show more about the library and then go into a little bit more for what comes after. And the episode after that is probably where we finish off on all that, right? And then we move on to the third volume, which I am so excited for. It's probably gonna be like maybe not close, because honestly, it'll still probably be May, but it'll probably be like May to June by the point that we get to that like set of episodes. But dude, the third volume, I love that third volume so much. I already love the first and second volumes, of course, but the third volume is like that's the moment where you're just like, yeah, no, this is arc 6, right? You get the understanding of this is arc 6, this is, the why it is what it is, why people consider it so damn good. Everything from there on, right? Already prior to that, it is like fucking great, right? I love this arc already prior to that, and I felt like it was like, oh damn, like this is just as good as arc 5's intro, maybe better, right? But getting to that third arc and then going on from there, that's the moment where I was like, this is my favorite arc of anything. It's so fucking good. Can't wait for that. And again, in general, the episodes that come from here are going to be great. I know the next episode's details are actually going to be different than what I know because the web novel, this is something I discussed with a friend. The web novel shows details with the next episode's contents that weren't there in the light novel, but the light novel does actually show some of them because they are relevant to stuff that you also learned in arc 5, or at least a little bit in arc 5. So it is interesting that it's changed up there. I'll see it myself and I'll realize, oh, neat, right? I liked what the web novel had with all that because I felt like it was like, oh, it was pretty cool to learn. But I don't mind if it was changed, right? And I'm curious to see how it was changed. So we'll get to there when we get to there. We'll be back next week. I'm excited for more of that. We'll also be back with live reading sessions, probably on Saturday. I originally said Friday, but honestly, I think I have to delay it just a little bit. So as long as nothing comes up Saturday, we're good for another one. We did actually recently do that. So if you've read the ReZero web novel and you're on, I guess maybe not on, but you've already seen the last volume of Arc 9 or whatever it may be, or you're on Arc 10, all that, right? We're currently doing that on the main channel. I just got past the first chapter of the final volume to Arc 9, and now we're on the named chapter of a very specific character that looks like it's going to be absurdly long because it's 11,000 words, and that's going to be something. That's going to be something to go through. That's going to take like 2 hours and probably be one whole stream, but that's okay. That's okay. We did that last time. We'll do it again. Still, I'm excited for that. By the way, anybody from the main channel that knows about, me reading all this and everything and hearing me talk about Arc 10 and all that, I did actually run into a spoiler on my Twitter feed about Arc 10. My fault, didn't mute hashtags. That's my bad. It wasn't also that bad of a spoiler, but certain details made me realize, wait a minute, right? It made me realize, like, wait a minute, no, this isn't correct to what I know right now, right? So, unfortunate. That's on me, right? That's entirely on me. It's not like the past where I felt like people weren't tagging their stuff or just making new tags that had to be muted. That's on me. I just didn't mute Arc 10 because I was busy at the time of that coming out, so I didn't think to do so. My bad, right? But I will fix that for myself soon. It's just, honestly, after this, really, I'm probably gonna, in the middle of uploading this, now that I've reminded myself to do so, I'm probably just gonna end up doing it while I'm doing that. But still, that was unfortunate, but it's okay. It's not too much. Still, we'll be back on the main channel with Arc 9. We'll be back here for more Arc 6 reactions. In general, just we'll be back with more ReZero and all that. So take care. Have yourselves a great day. And yeah, again, for the third time or something, we will be back next week. So I will see you all then. Farewell, peeps.